to try to de-yellow this. It's going to be my first attempt de-yellowing. I got a few other projects all going to happen at the same time with the de-yellowing. So this is the main machine right here. This case must have got some sunlight because it's very yellow. Bad looking. It's just very yellow. And I believe this should be about the same color. Leo. Alright, so what we're going to try today is retro brighting. I've never done it before, but I've watched a lot of people do it, and they all kind of do it different ways, and what I'm going to try here is kind of a combination of what I think is going to be the best, and all their good ideas. So, what I have here is a Omaha Steaks cooler that I lined with ultraviolet LEDs. That's a strip of 300 in there. Runs off this little power supply. UV container. There's the cleaned top of that nasty Super Nintendo. Almost doesn't even look like one, right? So, what we have here, Salon Care 40% hydrogen peroxide. And it's in a cream form, so it spreads on and stays on kind of thick. So, get a little brush. This stuff, try not to get it all over you because it's a little strong. And what I'm going to do is pour some of this on here. So, and paint it on nice and thick. Try to cover everything. So it's the hydrogen peroxide and the UV light that makes the reverse chemical reaction. Turns that bromine that turned to this yellow, should make it nice and white again. Get the inside too. It's just as yellow. And since we're trying to fix this problem, we'd like it fixed all the way through the plastic. So, paint this stuff on thick and paint it everywhere. I want this thing to be wet with this stuff. Now, I've got a big Ziploc baggie. Bag this thing up. One paper towel was not enough. Bagged up, sealed up, pretty wet with that stuff in there. Get this in here, kind of like so. We'll set that down the bottom. We have a couple other things I wanted to retro bright. One was all the little buttons, like the power button and the reset for the Nintendo. Yeah, they're purple, but they do yellow, and it doesn't really get yellow, but it gets kind of a very off purple. Look, the inside's nice, outside's off. Same thing, this mouse, it's yellow. Look, you can see the original color, and there's the faded. So all these are going to go into one thing together. I also have my Game Boy. This will go in a bag by itself. Right now, I'll get these parts all lubed up. Yeah, definitely a mess. Probably should have gloves on. So, I know I'm showing you how to do this, but don't do it like I'm doing it. Do it a little bit more safe. And don't get this stuff all over you, because I don't know what it's going to do to me. Hopefully it's not too bad, whatever it is. I want all this stuff good and wet, because I want it to really penetrate and do its thing. Get in there and turn all that crappy yellow plastic back. Make all this stuff nice so we can preserve it for the rest of our video game collection. And show people that it's possible to take your old yellow Nintendo or TRS-80 or I suppose whatever yellow toy maybe. I know we have a Stormtrooper upstairs. It's one that I've had. And that thing was yellow when I was a little kid. And it wasn't very old then. What's up with that? Just wet it all down. Doesn't have to be pretty. It's not actually paint. It's not stain. It's just gonna soak. Seal this up. Going in one side of our container. We're going to quickly do this Game Boy because this doesn't feel too good. No, it doesn't. Should have worn gloves. I think too that if the other people I've seen do this say, make sure you wear gloves because this stuff burns. Oh. I'm still trying to work quick here because I'm doing that to my fingers really doesn't feel too hot. Seal this thing up. Put it in our UV chamber. Okay, so there we go. You can see in there. Bags or parts. This is going to get plugged in. Bags or parts under lights. And this is going to get the top on it. We'll check this out in a couple days. We'll see what happens. Hopefully my fingers are still attached. We're looking at about 19 hours in the cooler with the UV lights on, in the bags, with some painted on cream hydrogen peroxide. So far, it looks pretty good. We're going to give this another day, I think, and we'll take it out and clean it up. That's that. Alright, here we are at the Whitening project, here with our cooler. And this is the SNES, the Game Boy, the mouse casing, the purple buttons that were kind of red colored. They weren't really purple anymore. And they've been in here for just shy of 2 days, a couple hours short. And we're going to take them out You got the sneak peek, that's what it was. You got the sneak peek yesterday.
Right.
And they were looking pretty cool then, so.
Let's take a look.
Unplug this thing, take it out of here. See if we can get that spot. But wow, look at that. You remember how it was yellow?
Brownish yellow. It's disgusting.
Disgusting. Look at even the inside is
Beautiful.
now gray again. So anyway, these are gonna go upstairs and get washed, but there's the Game Boy. This was all yellow here in the front. I think that's some glue from the screen.
But sweet looking.
Looks like brand new.
Yeah, it does.
Awesome.
You should plug that in one more time and just tip this up and take a nice shot of how much UV light you actually get going in there with those few LED strips. I mean, it's really kind of unique. And wow, these are hot, babe. Did you feel how warm
I
they
did,
were?
yeah. Definitely these LEDs in here, that's all UV LEDs, so don't look right at it. It's not all that great for you.
Yeah.
But that's putting off light like the sun. And it's running a little 12-volt power supply. And they just stick on the side of this thing. And it did get kind of warm, I'll say.
Yeah,
but
they're warm, but not warm as in plastic melting warm.
Yeah, no, not
warm.
hot, not hot.
Yeah.
These have been running for 2 days and it was only warm, so. But look at that. That mouse was yellow. These buttons were like raspberry color. All this purple was not purple. That looks amazing. Amazing what a little bit of light and some peroxide can do. So I'm going to go up, we'll wash these off, and we'll show you what they look like. Clean and dry. But that's the system. Retro Brighting. That and some Salon Care 40, the Care 40.
40 volume, the cream. Not the liquid, but the cream, because it really stays on when you spread it on.
If you don't have a hole in your bag, but and that.
Good stuff.
Besides the hole in the bag that made the one
cheap
little spot not take too well. And I will put it back in with some more on that spot anyway. I'm going to clean them up anyway first and then take it from there. But amazing, amazing, amazing.
Beautiful, great job.
And we still have the TRS-80. Okay, we're back at the table. This, the TRS-80 now has been in here for 24 hours. Unplug these lights. We'll take a look in here. See how this thing is looking. It's quite a difference. Just look at some yellow back here. Wow, that looks pretty good. Okay, gonna leave it in a little bit longer, see if we can get the rest of this cleaned up. But wow, coming out great so far. Stay with us. Well, there you have it. Retro Brighting. We took a stab at it. I mean, I think the results speak for themselves. You saw this Super Nintendo, you saw this TRS-80, and even my Game Boy that wasn't so bad. It's like brand new. They all look like brand new. Crazy. Our cooler, a few LED lights, some peroxide cream rinse, and some plastic bags. That's all it took. And time. There are a lot of methods right now that people use for retro brighting, and this worked out well for us on our very first try. But there are other ways, so we're going to dabble a little bit. We'll try a new way next time we do this. But for now, Cheryl and I are both very happy with the results. These things look excellent. And not too bad. Fun to do. It was a fun project. This thing especially. I bought this broken, damaged, gross. They didn't know if it worked. They didn't know. They had these wires. They were gross too. It was gross. Changed out the controller ports, put a new power supply port, and you saw the rest. We retro-brighted it. This thing's great. There's another Super Nintendo. Back from the dead. So one little issue we had, there's our mouse. it looks a lot better as far as yellow goes with the white. There is no more yellow on it. But this went, and I believe it's heat. Like I say, we're experimenting and learning as we go with this. I think using the cooler and the LED lights combined makes too much heat. This is kind of like a little oven. It doesn't get super hot, but when I take these things out of here after a day or two in there, they're pretty warm. I think that affected this one a little bit. The buttons, the purple buttons are a little bit bleached out. The gray piece is a little bit bleached out. I mean, other than that, the thing functions just fine, and it looks pretty good. So, again, I'm still going to call it a win, but it's just something to keep an eye out and be more aware of next time we do some retro brighting. We'll check it a little bit more frequently and see how it goes from there. I think that's an issue. At the time, maybe leaving them sit for too long, maybe too much heat. I don't really know yet, but for the first try, for all the main stuff, excellent. Worked out great. Everything worked out great. This thing, all of these machines look and work excellent. And that's all for our retro brighting experiment for now. Stay with us. We will try it again. Maybe a new method altogether. That's all for now. Meet me in the game room. Oh,